Welcome to this journey with Soulshine. That would be me. I am your intergalactic time-traveling host here at The Sacred Stage on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and as many places as I could possibly get The Sacred Stage. This is a daily synchronicity report brought to you by Serendipity. The magical word for today, serendipity. Just learned it today. So, through serendipitousness and through the law of synchronicity, I've devoted my entire journey, my entire path, my entire life, all of my words, all of my sight and my hearing, all of my senses, and all that I am, I've devoted to the divine prime creator, source of all that is, including me. And ultimately in this life that I'm communicating to you through at this exact moment in time, I am here in Mill Valley right at this exact moment in time at the Old Mill Park, sitting by a river and the redwood trees. Fog above me, very mystical. 7:30 in the morning, about to do some yoga. But yesterday's synchronicities were so profound that in all of the journeys that have happened for the last 8 days that I've been here, from Mount Shasta, California, heading all the way down to San Diego, my wheel bearing for the 7th time in a row on my van snapped. Left me on the side of the road, thankfully alive and well and safe. And of course I couldn't fix it right there. But luckily I have AAA. You should always buy AAA Plus if you can and get your free 100-mile tow if you need it. So anyways, I used it for 7 miles, got to the O'Reilly's. One thing led to another, and I thought that I could repair the parts on the side of the road pretty simply and easily, and then keep on my journey going to San Diego. However, the journey didn't happen that way. It happens that the wheel bearings metal seized to the whatever it is inside of it, so I couldn't actually pull off the old ones and put new ones back on, which led me on another journey, walking across town back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until this one moment that I met this man inside of the Ace Hardware who asked me about, for some reason, I'm not even sure why, he asked me about the Lemurians in Mount Shasta. Coincidence. This old man with blue eyes, over 70 years old, working at the Ace Hardware, decided that what I was going to go do with all the different parts and tools that I bought to fix the car, none of them were working. So he didn't really want to sell me any more, tools that weren't going to work that I couldn't return. So he decided that this grinder that he had in the back of the Ace Hardware, he was going to ask the owner of the store if I could borrow it, which, since he didn't know me, synchronistically speaking, to give me a power tool to go borrow on the side of the road to go fix my vehicle, I could have been anybody at any moment doing anything and never returned the tool. But through synchronicity, it wasn't a coincidence that he brought up the Lemurians and Mount Shasta and then lets me borrow this tool. So anyways, long story short, thank God I borrowed this tool because my power inverter, my solar panel, and my battery on the side of the road could plug it in, and then I just started to grind off that old metal stuff on the thing. I got pictures of it, I'll show you later. And as I grinded it all off, it's supposed to be a smooth thing for the new wheel bearing to go on. Well, with all that metal shavings and shards on there, it wasn't quite necessarily as smooth as it needed to be. Sometimes the path that we're on is a little bit rough and jagged and crazy and all over the place, and we may not know what's going on next, and we may not feel like we have the ability or the capacity to actually change the situation to be more beneficial and graceful and joyful and amazing for yourself through serendipity and synchronicity. However, I only believe in that, and therefore, for me, breaking down on the side of the road at that moment in time and being delivered to where it is I am now through my own law of attraction and action, I feel as if I did the right thing in grinding it all off and sanding it all down and making it smooth and putting on new ones and doing my best like a NASCAR driver to get off the side of the road. Well, I made it happen. And I returned the tool 3 minutes before 6 o'clock when the doors closed to the Ace Hardware, that he said, please have this back by the time I close so I don't get in trouble. And I said, I don't know if I can because I'm this far away and I got this much to do and I don't know what's going to happen. He's like, well, I trust you anyways. And I still, did it. I brought it back and he's like, oh, wow, you did it. Oh, you made it back. He was so excited and happy for me. Next thing you know, I deliver it. I go into the grocery store over there that's next door to get a couple of things, and I come out and the receipt was for $11.11 what I bought inside. $11.11. To me, 1111 is an awakening code, especially one of the awakening codes that came from me from Mount Shasta, California on 11/11/11. while I was there, and the Thrive Movement documentary came out and was aired at the Seed of Life Cafe, the Soul Cafe, which happened to be a coffee shop in Mount Shasta for a time being that my friend Brian actually opened for having this whole airing of the Thrive documentary at 11/11 on 11/11/11, which is 11/11/11/11/11, which to me the master numbers of the ones is profound because the ones keep on going. 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, all the way to 9, 0 again, you know, and it keeps on going. 1 and 0 makes 10, and 1 and 1 makes 11, but 1 plus 1 is 2, so it really goes into this whole like loop, and somehow, some way it all works out, and I don't even necessarily know how. However, what I do know is that I'm a part of it. I'm the one part that I need, the only one part that I need to make sense out of all this. So the synchronicity report goes 11/11 on the receipt, the Lemurian question, Mount Shasta connection, the grinding off of the wheel bearing, getting back on the road, and then zipping towards the ocean as fast as I possibly can from San Rafael, which is just about that far till you get to the closest beach. And when I got to the closest beach, of course, what did I find? Water, ocean. I love the ocean. I love water. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's life-giving force. But ultimately speaking, it's all over the place. Water, it's inside of me. It's in the air. It's all over. So we can connect to it anywhere. However, I was connecting to it here over in Sausalito, where I ended up, by these floating homes. Some of the coolest homes I've ever seen in my entire life, floating on water. I didn't realize that this was a place where the floating homes are, what they call it the last free ride. I think there's a documentary I haven't watched yet, but the last free ride. And it's all these floating homes that have come here after World War II and all this stuff happened. Creators, poets, artists, musicians, merrymakers, boatsmen, craftsmen, all came together and created this community on the water. And that's where I ended up going after the wheel bearing delivered me there. Ironically enough, I feel as if and actually I know I am an artist, I am a merrymaker, I am a dreamer, I am a weaver, I am a poet, I am all of those things, artist. I am also, yes, just like you, an avatar. I believe we all are. I believe some of us have done a really good job at opening up to whatever that means for us in our lifetimes and bringing that to the forefront of this expressive, creative, experiential reality called 3 dimensions here, where it is that I'm tangible, at least to myself. And then in this dimension, whatever it is that you're watching me on, I know it may be a flat screen on an iPad somewhere, but ultimately, molecularly speaking, the energy that's in me now is an extension of all of that too. So I live in the multiverse of dimensions, and in this reality, how I will make sense out of all of this is to kind of mix it all up a little bit. Throw it all in this gigantic pot, stir it all around. This recipe that I have that I just created, dump it all out. And then I'm gonna, you know, get some more magic from over here and put this magic in here and put that magic in there and stir it all up and then dump that out. And then over here I'm gonna grab all that back in, put it back in, and stir it all up, and then, whew. Yeah, I don't know where we're going from here. I never knew where we were going in the first place. All I knew is I had an idea. I wanted to be in the right place at the right time. I wanted to drink the best water ever. I wanted to eat the best food ever. I wanted to have the best friends ever, have the best conversations ever. And in fact, I do, all of the time. And so in the recognition of this and the divineness of what it is that I know that I'm talking about, and being able to have a breakdown on the side of the road turn into a breakthrough on the side of the road, I recognize that here as I am sitting in this beautiful, amazing redwood forest by this water, that all of my dreams and visions and aspirations and hopes and desires have already come true, because I'm here, I'm present, I'm now, I'm willing, I'm able, I'm open, I'm honest. I have integrity and authenticity, and my expression and my exuberance of how I deliver it to you is, in fact, my gift. And I would love and appreciate if I could continue using my gift to share with you all of these different things that have come up to me that I call synchronicities on the path of serendipity. And so, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly synchronicity reports entitled Journeys with Soulshine, your intergalactic time-traveling host here at the Sacred Stage. Some of those journeys entail my beloved, majestic Sparkletron, and some of them are just about me. Either way, we're together all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 6+ years. So the journeys are all about our love and our expressions and how we communicate and what's communicated to us. And so 50-50, I listen to her, she listens to me, I listen to her, she listens to me. We always 100% listen to source energy. Regardless if we listen to each other, we always hear the bigger picture. We always feel, hear, see, smell, and speak the most beautiful, amazing things we possibly can, even if it's a little bit poisonous, dark, gross, disgusting, and fucked up, and mangled, and twisted. It's just a perspective, because the opposite side of all of that is loving, kindness, compassion, gratitude, wisdom, understanding, and strength. So there's always there a 0 and a -1, -2, and a +1, +2. There's always both sides of the spectrum. Positive, negative, neutral. I like to remain in neutral until I'm ready to go. And when I go with such momentum and force that nothing really is gonna stop me, except for one thing, and only one thing, and an anomaly. So an anomaly to me is 99% of the time, it goes right. 1% of the time, something else happens. Now, for 7 times in a row, for my wheel bearings on my GMC van that I just bought a few months ago, 7 times in a row for the wheel bearings to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, out on this side, out on that side, out on this side, out on that side, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This 7th time was probably the deal breaker with all things for anybody who would ever have believed in the fact that factories are supposed to make things correctly every single time. And 99% of the time they do. But that 1% of the time, I'm that 1% that it doesn't work on. And unfortunately for me in my life for the last 38 years, I always have been, and probably always will be, that 1% that things don't work on. So therefore for me, I have to create a new way. And my new way is taking that 1%, ditching the 99%, and recognizing that that's me. And that's my job, my vision, my dreams, my hopes. It's all about me. And I believe that you're that one too, the anomaly. It's all about your dreams, your hopes, your visions, your aspiration, your passion. And whatever that is for you that you don't even know about yet, I'm asking you, begging you, and actually going to inspire and motivate you to finding one thing that brings you joy today. And then following that joy to the next joy, to the next joy, to the next joy, to the next joy, until it gets so joyful that you want to share your experiences with me too. So Quotes by Me, I think, is my new book about to come out, and it's filled with little tiny inspirational stories written by the divine director of us all, Source Energy. And as I've orchestrated myself into my own story, and into the middle of it, and in the end of it, and in the beginning of it, you're part of my story too, because we all are. It's our story. This is the time in history, his street and her street, that his and hers come together like this. Oh, and we create synchronicity because we're synchronized with that inner calling, that inner vision, that inner mission, that purpose, that plan, that reason why we're here. And what we're to do with it is to live it, experience it, and share it by emoting it, by being the reflection of which it is, of what it is that you are. So to be that expression, that reflection, that mirror, you have to wake up and tune in. This is me tuning in with myself, about to do Kundalini Yoga and Qigong like I do every single morning for multiple years, after drinking my yerba mate with some cacao and a little bit of cashew milk. Super delicious morning of energy to help me get through this amazing life that we call now, I guess. So my only real point about all this entire story for the last 13 minutes, if you're still watching, is that synchronicities don't happen for people in whom don't believe in synchronicity. Synchronicities only happen for people who believe in synchronicity, which means that no matter what, all of the time, even when you're about to give up hope and you're about to doubt and you're about to just not believe anymore, too bad. Because that's the moment synchronicity will always come and just swoop you up, pick you up, and deliver you to the next synchronicity, reminding you you're not allowed to quit, give up, or lose faith, or give up hope. It's not an option once you've fully given yourself to that flow momentum of how it is that we are supposed to, by our own right, tune in to our own joy, if we know what that is, or find it if we don't. And then as we do, share it. And by sharing it here in this exact moment in time, in this beautiful place, I'm not even necessarily sure how else I can share all of these synchronicities, except for yesterday rendezvousing on a dragon's boat. After it is that I had this vision that I was supposed to do this, I walked over here and did that, and then all of a sudden I saw a great blue heron, started to stare at it. Then I saw a snow egret, started to stare at it. I made a little video. As I made a little video, I walked over to this place. These people at a restaurant gave me and my wife a cupcake, which we're walking by. Why they called us out to come over to them, say give us a cupcake. I don't know, sure, I'll accept the cupcake even though I don't eat them. So I accept the cupcake, woohoo! And then I walk on and then I find somebody. I was like, I will find somebody who will eat this cupcake. So when we go walking, we walk up and down the docks, and then these two beautiful people come out of one of their houseboats. And I say, hey, would you like a beautiful sweet cupcake? And she says, oh, of course you sweet people have a sweet cupcake. I would love a cupcake from you. So we give them the cupcake. Next thing you know, we walk over here and we walk down and we look at some things, and I said to somebody else that I would love to live there, and if they had any advice on how it is I can get into a place. They said if anybody asks for help, you should probably just help them and, you know, participate in helping. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a good way to meet people. And then we go walking, one thing leads to another, and we walk back up, and this guy and this old lady say, hey, excuse me, can you come help us move this table? So I walk over there to go help them move the table, because obviously I was just instructed if somebody needed help to help them, and I felt like it was a good idea anyway, so I would have done it regardless if I was told to or not. Anyways, next thing you know, I help move the table. The person moving the table happens to be there helping too, which wasn't necessarily supposed to be there because he came from San Rafael just to help people for some reason. So me and him help this lady, and we start talking about this conversation. Turns out his friend lives on a boat down here, and he wanted to take us over to the boat to show us his artwork. So as we go down to his friend's boat, just so happens to be the dragon boat that we were actually talking about moments before, which synchronistically we never would have actually gotten to go on and have a great rendezvous with the Rosicrucians, the ancient Egyptians, with the essential oils, the massage therapy, the anatomy books, all of the things that were in the house, little spirit houses. Everything was so synchronized to what it is that we feel like we're a part of, that obviously for us to be sitting on this dragon boat after all of those things that had happened to bring us to that moment was all pretty freaking fun. So anyways, after the fact of all of that happening, then we get off of the boat and we go down this journey and we do the rest of the things. And I mean, the serendipities and the synchronicities of how it is that we got there and where it is we're to go. There's many more parts of the story that I'm going to probably write and inscribe in little stories for you. This was just a little bit of a journey to show you that there is a lot going on around us that is actually going on around you too. And if this can help you open your eyes a little bit wider to be able to see serendipity and synchronicity speaking to you too, and I would love and appreciate if you would share it with me as well, especially if it involves me. And in doing so, you can either hashtag it or write it below in the comments, or you can actually write me or email me yourself and let me know all of the magical things. I'd love to meet you if I haven't already, and if I have already, I would love to meet you again and drink some tea and talk some story, because that's what me and my beloved love to do ultimately all of the time. So come and join us for one of our cacao ceremonies we'll be having somewhere sometime soon, and or one of our essential oil classes, or one of the many tools for transformation items on the menu that we have. So anyways, for now, at the Sacred Stage, I am Sebastian Soulshine Wolf. I am an intergalactic time-traveling genie, also your host. Till next time, blessings and aloha.